Know this. Killing is my business, ladies, and business is good.
Attention campers, lunch has been cancelled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
Quack, 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 quack. Stop. Quack, quack, quack. Quack, quack, quack. Quack, 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 quack. Quack, 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 quack.
If I'm not back in 5 minutes, just wait longer.
Alright, but any funny moves in your clothes?
People who have no homes are easy to control.
What are they doing?
They're watching Snow White. And they love it.
If this is all a dream, then what happens when we wake up? I don't know, but I can't wait to find out.
Why the hell did you take your shoes off?
Why the hell you dressed like a chicken?
Say hello to my little friend!
Don't we talk about my mama? I'm setting booby traps. Booby traps. That's what I said. I'm setting booby traps in case of anybody following us.
I've been stabbed, and I've been hanged, and I've been burned, even broken on the rack once, but I've never been shot before.
Shut up.
I don't shut up.
Shut up. I grow up. And when I look at you, I throw up. And then your mother goes around the corner and she licks it up.
Wise man say forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
What I'd really like to do is something extraordinary. Something big, something mega, something copious, something capacious, something kajunga.
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
You want to talk to God? Let's go see him together.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
Yeah, well, that's just like, your opinion, man.
Stop looking at me, Swan!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Straight from Our Couch. Anyways, my name's Kevin,
My name's Kendall.
My name's Braden.
and basically this whole thing is going to be us making doing movie reviews, mostly on movies that I grew up watching and have loved. And I decided to share them with my children. A lot of these movies that we're doing reviews on, the kids also have seen, so it's not new to them, but some of them are. And the movie that we chose to do a review on today is a movie that they have seen. Actually, we watched it last night, right? We watched it last night. We watched it last weekend, and we watched it maybe a couple of years ago. But it was a nice refresher. And it's the movie we chose to do a review on is Stand By Me, and it was released August 22nd, 1986. Kendall, what did you think of the movie?
I think it was a 10 out of 10.
Can you speak loud and clear, baby girl? 10 out of 10. Brayden, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think about the movie?
I think it was good.
That's it? That's all you guys
I think
say?
it was good.
All right. I bet.
Wait, bet.
Bet. All right. No cap.
No cap.
So Stand By Me is what's the word that I'm looking for? Preview? It's not preview.
Summer?
Yeah, that word. After learning that a stranger has been accidentally killed near their rural homes, 4 Oregon boys decided to go see the body. On the way, Gordy LaChance, Vern Tessio, Chris Chambers, and Teddy Duchamp encounter a mean old junk man and a marsh full of leeches as they also learn more about one another in their very different home lives. The adventure turns out to be a defining event in their lives. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 92%, baby girl. What does that mean?
It's
Good.
well, it's good.
Director Rob Reiner, who directed this, it also directed When Harry Met I almost said Shally. When Harry Met Sally. Have you seen Harry Met Sally? Have you seen When Met Sally?
What
Can you
is
sit
that?
up?
What's that?
It's a fucking movie, dude. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to swear for the show. I've
Question.
I've never seen When Harry Met Sally either. So he also directed The Princess Bride, which is a phenomenal movie. And we're also going to be covering that movie because I enjoyed that movie as a kid too. Misery, which is another Stephen King movie based off Stephen King book. So A Few Good Men. I actually have it on DVD. And, I sectioned it off into it's probably in the action, even though it's not very actiony because it's more of like a lawyer thing. And recently, The Wolf of Wall Street. So uh, the movie got $52.3 million in the box office, which is even for today's standard, I think is pretty fucking phenomenal, especially since it didn't seem like they spent a whole shit ton of money on production, like um like special effects and that. So um, yeah, so the movie is based off a novel by Stephen King called The Body, which is actually it was written based off of King's real life events. The only thing that was so basic, The Body is basically an autobiography except for the body. The fact that they seek uh uh a dead body. They go see a dead body. So that's the only thing that is untrue. So the rest of the things they were. So the film was based in and around Brownsville, Oregon. The story takes place in Castle Rock, which is a fictitious town that actually appears throughout a lot of Stephen King's writings, um, and is like the main focal point of a lot of the stories, but it is not a real place. So, Kendall's favorite part, because we've tried to record this several times and have been unsuccessful. So I'm hoping that this time it's successful. So what was your favorite quote from the movie?
My, my favorite quote was, "You guys want to go see a dead body? You guys want to see a dead body?"
All right. Why is that your favorite? Why is that your favorite quote? All right. What's yours, Brandon?
Oh, stick balls.
So there's a part in the movie which I think is Braden's favorite scene in the movie is when Gordy is running to get out of the junkyard and get away from the dog.
In the scene light.
Jeez, are you getting sick over there? Anyway, so the scene is he's trying to run from the junk man's dog, and it goes in slow motion, and he hears that you hear the junk guy go, "Chopper, sick him," and he's like, the narrator goes, "Now in my head, he said Chopper, sick him, but what I heard was Chopper, sick balls. So like basically the consensus is that there's um like a folklore, if you will, about this junk man and his dog, and apparently this dog is extremely vicious, which they find out that it wasn't, and it goes after kids' balls. It'll eat their balls, or chomp on their balls, or whatever the fuck. Um, so did you have a favorite character, Kendall?
Vern or Gordy?
Vern or Gordy? Gordy because he's the main character, and Vern because you think he's funny. Yeah.
It was Vern's idea.
For the trip. Brayden, do you have a favorite character?
No.
My favorite character is Chris, who's played by River Phoenix, and we all know that uh, River Phoenix passed away far too young from a drug overdose. He had heart failure. But so he plays Chris Chambers, and that character has always resonated with me even when I watched it for the very first time when I was a kid, which was somewhere between 10 to 12 years old, was the first time I ever watched this movie. Which would have been like 98, between 98 and 2000. So long after this movie had even been made, by the time I watched it. So but I do remember there were times when one of my parents would watch it, catch it on TV or something, and I would see parts of it, but I never like sat down and watched the entire thing until I was probably somewhere between 10 to 12. And it just so happens that the boys are all 12 years old, and Kendall's 12 right now, and she's not going to be out there in a treehouse smoking cigarettes and playing fucking poker with her friends. Um, so yeah, so Chris had been my favorite character, just because his personality I felt like was similar to mine, where I cared about my friends and whatnot, and I didn't have a good outlook on myself, but I had a good outlook out on my friends. Um, so did you have a least favorite character, baby girl?
No.
Did you have a least favorite character?
No.
Well, my least favorite character was Ace, who was played by Kiefer Sutherland, and you should know if you're into movies, who Kiefer Sutherland is at this point. First movie I ever saw Kiefer Sutherland in was Young Guns. Um, I don't know, I was a early teens when I watched Young Guns. I might have even still been a kid when I watched Young Guns, but that movie was amazing. It's one of my favorites. Young Guns too, as well. But he's also in Flatliners and The Lost Boys, which Lost Boys was way before Young Guns. But actually, I think uh, I think Lost Boys was like his what made him get the most recognition, like made him prompted more jobs. But he's also in the latest show, Rabbit Hole, which I have not watched, but I am interested in, because if you're coming from my podcast that I do without my kids, its focuses heavily on conspiracies. So the Rabbit Hole show is based on conspiracies. Yeah. I kind of want to check it out. But what was your favorite scene?
When they were running on the train track from the train.
Why is that your favorite scene?
Because
Speak louder.
it was funny when Vern just kept crawling on the train track and not standing up, and then they had to jump off the train track.
And what about you?
Mine was the scene where Gordy ran away from Chopper.
Yeah, we just discussed that. So, My favorite scene is if you lean forward, the microphone will get pick your voice up better too. By the way, um,
My gosh.
my favorite scene was at towards the end when Gordy was pointing the gun at Ace, and Ace says, "What are you gonna do? Shoot us all?" And he said, "No, just you." And then he just kind of like gulps, like I'm really scared. Are you getting sick? But yeah, it was nice to see like the bully basically get put in his place and actually showed fear, like he was afraid. Which I think anybody would have been afraid with a gun pointed directly at them anyway. So um but yeah. So also my favorite quote, which I didn't go over, was when they were in the marsh right before they found the leeches were all over them. Teddy says, "I'm in the prime of my youth and I'm only going to be young once." And then Chris says, "Yeah, but you're going to be stupid for the rest of your life." It made me chuckle.
I was gonna do
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, Will Wheaton plays Gordy LeChance. Will Wheaton is more of a writer these days than he is anything, much like the older version of Gordy LeChance. Hmm. And he does, I think he's done a lot of like video game voices and cartoon voices and stuff like that. River Phoenix, he was in Explorers, which I think we're gonna review at some point if I can ever get my hands on that movie. I think that movie was 84, 2 years prior to Stand By Me. Um and I want to say that Corey Feldman was in that as well, but I'm not 100% sure. It's been a really long time since I've seen that movie. Um, but yeah, and we all know that River Phoenix passed away at 23 years old after he shortly after Indiana Jones, the second one, he played a young Indy. Corey Feldman, he's in a shit ton of movies, Gremlins, The Goonies, which the Goonies we're also gonna review. The kids haven't seen that one yet, which I'm gonna share. Actually, Braden's seen it, Kendall hasn't. Um, so we're probably gonna review that one in the near future. And he was also in The Lost Boys with Kiefer Sutherland. Um, he did I say who he played? He played Teddy Duchamp, um, which is kind of like the character is kind of like the person he is now. Um, Outspoken, kind of crazy, or at least appearing crazy. But Jerry O'Connell played Vern Tessio, which honestly I did not even like now that I know that it's him because he's in a lot of movies and TV shows and stuff. Um, it's weird. Like now that I know though, like I can see the resemblance in the younger him to the him now. Um, Kiefer Sutherland, we already went over, who played Ace Merrill. John Cusack plays a small part. He plays Gordy's older brother who passed away from a car accident, right? Yeah. And he was a quarterback for football college, and their parents were extremely proud of him and kind of left Gordy out a lot, but his brother Denny always supported him from the scenes that they show in the movie and whatnot. So it just seems like a very good, loving brother. And now that the brother is dead, the parents completely don't even pay attention to him, and the father says some rude shit to him, to Gordy. um, and then Richard Dreyfuss plays the writer, which is the older version of Gordy, and Richard Dreyfuss plays in Jaws, which
that. Is he still alive?
um I believe he is still alive, but he's very old and very white. Like the color of his hair is as white as this the fucking windowsill. That's super white. What are you talking about? It's like see through. It's so white. No, his hair. His hair and his beard. um, but I always thought he was a good actor. Plays in What About Bob with Bill Murray too, which actually is another movie you guys haven't seen. I know you for a fact that you haven't seen. What About Bob? You've seen What About Bob? No, that's what I thought.
What happened?
It's just it. So Bill Murray plays like a germ freak, and Richard Dreyfuss is like his therapist or something.
Yeah.
And Richard Dreyfuss goes on vacation with his family, and Bob ends up somehow tagging along. Which I can't remember, which would be a good thing to see. I would like to fry my memory, So on a scale of 1 through 5 stars, Kendall, what would you rate Stand By Me at? 5.
5.
5. Brayden, what about you?
A 4-star. 4 stars.
4 stars. I would also give it 4 stars. The reason that I would give it 4 stars is because number one, there's way better movies out there. Number two, they could have done better. But it's 1984 as well, so like for the time, it's still a good movie. The story is good, especially the storyline.
Speaking of that, saw some things I didn't understand in the movie, like when Gordy told the story at the campfire, like about that guy named David, like with the pie eating contest.
Lardass?
Yes, him. Nobody finished their pies, and then when everybody started to throw up, everybody threw up blueberry pie.
Yeah, that is kind of weird. I wonder if they just like smelled. They were like, blueberries. All the blueberries coming out too.
No, I think what they did was yeah.
Oh, good. Thanks. That was very descriptive of you, Brayden. Thank you very much. I appreciate
I
it.
had a recent Alex.
And do you think that maybe everybody had some blueberry pie?
I think they just smelt the blueberry pie, and just from the smell of it.
What's a blueberry pie?
Pie. They smelt it, and by smelling it, they ate it.
Or they had like a sample when they walked in, because they had so much extra pie.
Or
You can't throw up pie by smelling it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
So
You can throw up others by smelling something gross. Like if you just ate beef stew and smelt pie, then you would throw up beef stew.
what? Oh,
yeah. So Kendall, say you were the director, what would you have done to make this movie better than it already was?
Nothing, because it's already good.
Brayden, what about you?
I don't know.
Actually, I would get a real train to chase them. Actually, I would get a real train to chase them.
Why did you repeat your words?
Because I pushed her closer to the microphone. Time that we are recording this, so the first time was terrible. I can't remember exactly what happened, but there were there was an echo and everything. And then we recorded earlier going over this, and then I played it back, and we couldn't hear Kendall. We could hear me and Brayden totally fine, but every time Kendall spoke, couldn't hear her.
It was like she spoke, but you could only hear like letters.
What?
When you heard her speak, when she said, forget a word she said.
but you could only hear. Say if she said there, you could only hear the E-I-R.
I don't know.
No, like when you
Well,
hear her say
earlier, so I had it set up so that the microphone was over here because Braden was in the chair, and the microphone was here, and Kendall was basically in the same spot she is right now. She doesn't speak very loud anyway, so I figured it. So now the microphone's closest to her, and hopefully this goes over well. So, anyways, have you ever heard a story that is similar to the movie? No, you've never heard any, like, you never read a book, anything that was similar?
No.
Well, I will say that kids going missing is a real problem, not only in this country but in the world. And which the movie is the premise is on a missing child. But the body is found by these two grease balls, and they're talking about it on the porch. And Vern is the younger brother of one of them, and is underneath the porch digging holes. And when he hears it, and then he presents it to his friends and goes, "Hey, you want to see it? But yeah, you guys want to go see a dead body?" So that's therein lies the story. But I don't know, hold your kids close and tight and tell them that you love them every chance that you get. um but would you guys ever find yourself, it is snowing out right now.
Ew, what?
Ew.
I meant, whoa.
I think the next movie, I think episode 2, we're gonna do a Christmas movie.
I think we should do Polar Express.
Honey, I shrunk our kids.
No, Polar
That's
Express.
a good one too, Kendall Jade. That's a
Polar
good one.
Express.
No.
Polar Express. Mall Cup.
We'll figure it out. But um would you guys find yourself in the wood? Would you guys go and spend time out in the woods with your friends just randomly these days?
Yeah.
Sleep in the. But I would go out from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
So 12 hours?
Yeah.
All right.
With you want to go? You want to go on a 2-day trip with your friends, walking down the railroad tracks into the woods to find a dead body? No.
I would do it if there wasn't a dead body.
If it was a 1-day trip. Because I don't want to sleep in the woods with just a sleeping bag, and then I could wake up to a bear eating me.
You wouldn't wake up if a bear ate you.
You would. You could. There's a story of a guy in Alaska. There's a story of a guy in Alaska or the Yukon or whatever, waking up to a bear gnawing on his head.
Oh my gosh.
It was a polar bear too.
Did he survive?
So maybe it wasn't Alaska, but it still could have been.
Did he survive?
Yes, he survived.
How?
Or a wolf eating my leg.
He got away somehow. I can't remember. I don't remember the whole story, but I remember him waking up and there's fucking the story goes that the bear was dragging him by his head.
I wouldn't trust any of my friends to guard me with a gun.
I don't think I would trust any of your friends with a gun.
I would trust my friend with a gun.
Ava, you're slacking in the friend department.
Ava.
Oh, I have a really
Ava.
I have a really funny picture of one of my friends.
Well, let's hear what this picture is.
It's a picture of him. He's holding 4 like this, sitting next to a slow sign. I can show you it.
Why is that funny?
I don't know. You wanna see?
No cap, bro. No cap.
Look, I'll show you.
No cap. We don't want to see it. All right. That is the show. Obviously it has a high rating between the three of us, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. If you have seen it, then you're probably like, I don't need to see it. I've already seen it 100 times.
Pringles.
All right. Anyway.
Star.
But yeah, so like, follow, share, subscribe. That's the best way to help this show grow. Not that we're particularly in the caring of how big this show is. This is just something that we want to do together. And we already watch the movies together all the time anyway, so we just figured we'd talk about it and share it with people that are interested in hearing about it. So if you came from my podcast that I do by myself with guests, I appreciate it. If you have not and you're interested, I will just plug it right now, and that is Where the Weird Ones Are podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, as well as Rumble. If I have Rumble just in case, YouTube decides to kick stuff off, because we know how touchy YouTube can be. So basically it's a conversational based podcast based on guests' experiences and encounters with paranormal, cryptids, spirituality, religion, cults, conspiracies, and we talk about mental health, because when you see or experience something that you already think is unreal, and you don't think that anybody's going to believe you,
Experiencing something that was unreal.
Okay.
It was rated.
What?
Opening my door last night.
Yeah, and so merch for that show is etsy.com/shop/where the weird ones are. Maybe there'll be merch for this show, depends on how big it gets.
For the yeah.
What the fuck was that? Yeah.
I think I need water.
Next time you think you need water.
So
You didn't get enough water at the movies when we just were there?
A cup.
All right. Well, that's it for the show. Again, I graciously appreciate you for listening. So Kendall, if you don't mind saying thank you to everybody who decided to listen and watch. Brayden.
Thank you.
All right. And we are out. 3, 2, 1. Bye.
This concludes our broadcast day. Click.
Because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky, when the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when a shooting star streaks through the blackness, turning night into day. Make a wish.